Is there a method or technique you can use to receive what you desire? What is desire and where it comes from? Why is desire so important to us? And what is the difference between the ego's desire and the soul's desire? Hello everyone, welcome to one more video. I am so happy to see you here. I hope you're doing well and feeling inspired. So the topic for today is how to receive what you desire. So let us start by defining desire. What is desire and where desire comes from? So desire is an impulse from within. It is something that guides us to arrive somewhere, to get something, to experience, achieve, to taste, and to feel, to have or to build. So, for all of these, we need desire. Desire can be understood as an impulse to live life. So, desire is life. We need to have desire, otherwise, life is not possible. So, when we wake up in the morning, we feel the desire for something immediately, right? From we can wake up and desire anything like breakfast, shower, we wanted to meditate or to watch social media. Hopefully not, it's not very helpful, that stuff, right? But whatever it is, we wake up in the morning already desiring something, right? There is something that we want. So what would happen if we have no desire for anything when we wake up in the morning? Probably we would not move out of bed, right? Because uh, why to get out of bed if you do not have the desire for anything? You cannot move forward without the desire. So desire is essential for life, and we are beings filled with desire, right? And without the desire, there is no life. Now, desire comes from within, right? And basically from two different parts of us. We have our lower self, what is also called our ego, and we have the desires coming from there. And we have our upper self, right? Or our higher self. And we also have desires coming from our higher self. So both the ego and the higher self, also called the soul, they have desires, and of course they are very different in nature, right? So why is desire something so important? Because desire is the essence of who we are. We desire something all the time. From the moment that we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, our whole day is all about the desire. So we all have different unique desires throughout life. For some people, fame is something very important. They want to be famous, right? And for others, they desire solitude. They desire something completely different, something else. And that's the key for their happiness. That's what they want. Now, of course, not all desires are equal. So let's talk about the difference between the ego's desire and the soul's desire. Now, desire from the ego is all about instant gratification. So, what do I want now that's going to bring me pleasure? I want to eat something delicious, to sleep, to watch television, to watch a movie, to talk to somebody. It is something that I want now, I desire now. So, desire from the ego is also something very shallow, right? For example, I have a desire to buy a car because somebody in my family just got this new car, and I am feeling like I'm not good enough, so I wanted to buy a new car as well because I wanted to show off. I wanted to show, I am good enough, or I'm feeling jealous of that other person who bought a car, and I have all these negative feelings about that. So I buy the car to feel this emotional hole I have in me, these negative feelings. And this comes from the ego, right? Now, in this context, of course, buying a car means fulfilling the ego's desire to show off. Now, in another context, the desire to buy a car could be something completely different. So it depends on the context and how we are feeling, where we are coming from. Now, there is another type of desire that it comes from our higher self, from our soul, that very deepest part of us. And that's where we are going to focus today. So, the desire that it comes from the soul is very different in nature. It is a desire that feels like almost impossible or too good to be true, that dream that you have inside that's like, wow, that's too good to be true. I could never have that, right? It is something that it causes us a lot of fear because, it is a completely new territory for us. So, in order to get this desire fulfilled, we must go into the unknown. And, this is very frightening for us human beings, right? We don't like the unknown. We like what we already know, right? That we know around, and that's where we feel safe. So, for example, let's suppose that you got married and divorced a few times already in your life, right? But since your last divorce, you still have that desire to try again. There is something inside of you that it feels like something is lacking in your life. You don't feel fulfillment because you had these relationships, they didn't work so well, and you have this need to have something different, to go for love again, right? To experience love again. So there is a part of you, your soul, your higher self, that is calling you to move forward in life and to have love again. It doesn't matter you have 3 relationships already or 3 divorces. The soul is gonna be pushing you ahead of you, right? I said, go ahead, try again. Let's see if this time around you can get what you need, what you love. So, but of course, you got married and divorced already 3 times, and there is a part of you that is absolutely scared, and this part of you is going to tell you, oh no, don't do it, Tim. Don't you remember what happened last time? It's just bad news. Don't do it. Stay away from that. Stay safe in the corner. Stay in your house. You're better off in this way, right? And this part of us is the ego, right? This part is our lower self, because the ego is always afraid, right? So when the soul wants to move forward, the ego pulls back. No, 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 no. It's too dangerous. It's too far. Don't go too far. Stay around in here, right? For instance, another example. Suppose that you feel this urge to do something that you have never done before. Something completely new, something that nobody ever heard about, something that's going, your whole family gets scared. Like, people are going to look at you and they're going to ask, what is this that you want to do again? What is this you're doing with your life? Are you moving from this space to another space? I mean, what is going on in here, right? So people around you might get frightened. They might look at you like, what is going on with this person, right? This is too different, is too audacious, or it is not too practical. Oh, not affordable. Don't go in there. You cannot afford that. So this is another example of a soul desire, right? It's something that you deeply want, that is something moving inside of you. It's like an ocean. The waves in an ocean is moving, and all what you need to do now is to have the courage to move forward, right? So those are, for instance, examples of the soul's desires, right? So your soul is knocking at your inner door and calling you to do something more in your life, to have more life, more love, more joy, more fulfillment, right? So your soul wants to give it to you, all these gifts. And the question is, how do I receive this desire? What do I do with this, And of course, we are now speaking about the soul's desire, right? Because the ego's desire is very easy to do, right? Anybody knows how to get an extra piece of cake, how to buy a car, how to do something out of fulfilling your emotional needs. This is easy. Now, the soul's desire is something completely different. Now, how would you receive this new relationship? So if there is that movement inside of you, that you want to try again, to have love in your life again, how do you receive this new relationship? Because life is pushing you, right? Your soul is pushing you. Go out there, You're gonna find somebody out there. But how do you do this, you know? How do you receive your new career? How do you receive something that's completely new in your life? You never have tried before, right? Is there any method or is there any technique to receive the desires? Well, in order to receive what your soul most desire, right? You must pass through the three stages of awakening. So the first stage of awakening is the victimhood state, right? It is um, everyone dwells in victimhood, right? In one way or another, this is part of the being a human being, it's part of the human experience, right? But you know, for as long as we stay in this situation of I feel like a victim, I cannot receive my soul's gift. There is no way I can go in there because when we feel like a victim, we are powerless. We are overwhelmed by the circumstances, you know, and we cannot see a way out. We cave in, we give up. We blame the outside world, the people, the external situations, the economy. We do anything we can to justify why we cannot move forward with our lives in that moment, right? So, something that can cross our mind when we are in this state, for instance, my family won't allow it. The economy is too bad. We can't do it. Nobody cares. Why would I do this anyway? I don't have enough money. I can't do this, right? So all these phrases, all these feelings and emotions, they are part of this spot, inner spot in life called the victimhood, right? So this is the very first gate of awakening. So when we feel like a victim, we close the doors from receiving our soul's desire because we might be able to fulfill the small desires from the ego, right? Because that's very easy to fulfill, but our soul's desire, we cannot do it because victimhood means the doors are closed, you know. So your soul is knocking at your door, let us do it, let's move forward, but the door is closed, so there is no way you can do it, right? So, you know, why is this happening? Because the victims, they give their power away, right? They don't have any power to create what it takes to receive their desires because we have to work for it, we have to create something for that, right? Or, you know, so our job is to identify when we feel like a victim and exit this space by doing the Ho'oponopono cleaning. This is a sure way for us to calm yourself down, look within, and you know, okay, I'm feeling like I am a victim in here, right? Life is bringing me this pineapple, this horrible situation, and I feel like a victim. And because I'm feeling like this, I cannot go for what I desire. So I stop and I do the Ho'oponopono cleaning, right? The cleaning can help us to feel differently. Now, the second stage of awakening is what we call the control state, let's say like this. So, and of course, this stage is better than victimhood because in victimhood we are completely paralyzed, right? We are paralyzed, we are not moving, we are doing nothing besides complaining about life and feeling pity towards ourselves. Now, when you come to the second stage, you are a little bit better in here because you know you have already the awareness that you can create your reality, right? You can participate in the creation of your own life. So that's when we learn, for instance, about the law of attraction, the power of our thoughts, and how our thoughts and feelings can create our experiences, right? And the problem with this stage is that we want to be in control because we learned, right? Or if I think about something, I can manifest that stuff. My mind alone has all the power and I can get what I want, right? And you know, in this stage we have a plan and we work the plan and we work on our thoughts and we want what we want, we're going to manifest. And if we do not manifest, we feel angry and resentful, right? Because we believe we are in control of everything. Now, of course, the second stage is better than the first, but you know, it is still not enough for us to be in this spot, this inner spot where you can receive him. your soul's desire. Because if we are very busy calculating, controlling, making all these things, we are where are we? We are in our ego, né? Because this is ego. The ego wants to control everything. And if we are in this spot, we cannot receive our soul's desire. So, to receive our desire, we must build the conditions for it, believing and believing that our thoughts alone can manipulate the universe and everything. And this is really not real. We cannot manipulate the universe. We can't. What we can do is to work in alignment with the universal laws, the spiritual law. We can work in alignment with the law of attraction. Of course, that will help, but we don't have the power to manipulate anything. This is an illusion of the ego, right? So that's the second stage as well. Now, it comes now the third stage, and here we have the possibility to receive our soul's desire. So in this third stage, we learn how to surrender ourselves into the divine hands, right? So instead of having intentions and elaborate the plans, or instead of working so hard to manipulate life and the universe, what we do is that we clean our memories daily using the Ho'oponopono tools, any tool you prefer, right? And we ask divinity for guidance and for courage. We must ask for the courage to face the fear, because the soul's desire will come with a lot of fear. That's a fact. If it comes from the soul, if it is something new in your life that's going to move you forward, it is going to come with a lot of fear, right? So without courage, we cannot get there. We don't have this inner space of strength to receive this desire, right? Now, how do we have courage? This courage, it comes from our connection to the divine power within us, right? Only the divine power within you can provide you with the courage you need. There is no other source, there is no other way. It comes all from within you, and it comes from divinity, right? So these three stages of awakening, they do not happen in a linear form, meaning we go from victimhood over here, we arrive in the controlling spot, and then we are awakened finally, and all problems are gone. It doesn't happen in this way, right? But rather, the awakening process, it is a spiral in nature. And what that means, being spiral? It means that we arrive at our awakening certain moments in life, and then eventually we fall again a little bit into victimhood. You go into the controlling spot, we arrive into the awakening a little bit, we fall into victimhood, because this is a spiral movement, and it happens in all areas of life. Somebody can be very awakened and in the spiritual level, but not so much in the emotional, or it happens in all levels of life, and it happens all at once. So that's why it is so important to practice the Ho'oponopono cleaning, because by cleaning memories, we leave behind this feeling of victimhood and the need to control, right? Cleaning these memories help us to surrender into the divine hands, because we do not have the power to control anything, but we must place ourselves into this spot where we surrender to the universal laws, to how life works, and we open space so life comes through us, it passes through us, right? So to receive what you desire, you must work every day on cleaning the memories a little bit, evaluating our behaviors and feeling, right? Ask yourself, in which state am I today? Do I feel like a victim? Am I trying to control life around me? Right? Look at the problems you're facing. If you are caving in with any kind of problems, you are in victimhood. You need to get out of there as fast as possible, right? So listen to your soul and allow yourself to receive this amazing desire you have. Your desire is unique. No one in this universe has this particular desire in the way you do. And if you bring this desire forth, you contribute to life, to humanity, and to the universe. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Aloha, and until the next time.